Cock Street, within
42
this
Cock Street.
42 Cock Street,
Yeah.
the same premises with Perky's Pizza.
Oh, yes.
So our office is open to customers who have grievances with the service provider, Domlec, and who want to come to allow IRC to address those sort of issues and concerns. So, like Mr. Case says, there is we have a process, a mechanism. First, how these customer complaints are initiated is that the customer must ensure that they have basically exhausted all efforts with Domlec, and if they are dissatisfied, as the executive director mentioned, then IRC can step in. So the customer would come with their evidence, their account number, all those types of evidence that would allow IRC to facilitate or initiate an investigation into the matter.
Do you have personnel who are trained as to like mini investigators to do that, like mini investigators to get all the evidence and measure both sides? So what is the training? Are you the final authority for establishing the regulatory system in Dominica?
Yes, well, actually, we have a utility engineer, someone who deals with
Nice.
customer complaints.
Nice.
Of course, the ED, the project engineer would all step in, would all collaborate in terms of conducting these types of investigations. And I mean, the investigation does not have to be so complex. Certainly, it requires communication with the service provider, Domlec. And it's not like it's a situation where IRC is doing anything behind Domlec's back.
Okay,
There must be some level of cooperation and communication with Domlec.
Would you? I see. I have a call. Would you be able to willing to accept?
Of course,
that one?
certainly.
Let's see,
That's what we're
let's see.
here for.
Okay. Yes. Yeah, good morning.
Good morning. I have a question regarding an independent power producer. What is the limit as to how much power one can generate on their own for their own premises or their own workshop? And is there any regulation on that?
Okay,
You want to stay on the line for the answer? If you have a question, or you want to hang up, or you want to wait for the answer? Okay, good, no problem. Go ahead.
Okay, from
May they make it a little closer to you?
a strictly technical point of view, if you are completely off the grid, that is, you are not connected to Domlec, there actually is no limit if you have no connection to Domlec. However, if you are connected to Domlec, there are limits based on your consumption. So it is not a open carte blanche that you can produce all what you want once you are connected to Domlec. But if you are not, you are free to do whatever you like.
Okay, understood. In that case, importation of a generator, am I free to import any size of generator that I like as to my premises?
Okay, there are laws which govern the size of generator which you can import locally without having a license. I believe the number is 20 kilowatts. Anything over 20 kilowatts, there's a process which you have to go through to get a license to import that generator.
And that's whether you're on the grid or not.
You heard that?
Excuse me?
He says that's whether you're on the grid or not.
Okay. The situation is that we are on grid, but we have a workshop and we have some heavy duty free phase equipment. So we would like to have our own generator when using those free phase equipment.
Well, in that case, you would need to obtain a license.
Okay, understood.
But you can have whatever size of generator you require to feed your load on your premises to drive your equipment.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, well, thank you for calling.
I'd also like
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, I'd also like to encourage the caller. If he wants any more information, please come to the IRC. Like I said, our office is located on 42 Cox Street. The light green and off-white building on Perky's premises. Our number is 440-6634 or 440-7247.
Okay, so it's interesting that you mentioned that. I'm always going to lighten up the environment. So you said 20 kilowatt generator, and other than that, higher than that, then you would have to have.
Yeah, whether you're on the grid or not, you need to obtain a license. Yes.
Okay, well, I'm going to be funny about that. So you said 20, right?
20,
Right.
20,
So
20 or higher.
Well, okay. Well, I was going to order 3 20s because I was 60. Okay, so we have my good friend. Yeah, we've been friends for a couple of decades now in youth division time. Yes, from Bowie. She's from Bowie. Okay, yeah. Okay, so pull it back closer to you. Yeah, yes. And so tell me about her department.
Yeah, so Mrs. Louis is responsible for conducting audits as her position so speaks to analyzing the books, analyzing the finances of Domlec to ensure that Domlec is operating efficiently. Mrs. Louis can speak to the ongoing rate review and the key parameters that the IRC has looked at so far.
So I'm going to ask a direct question. Okay. With the advent or the upcoming of geothermal energy, would that make your workload literally, pun intended? Hear the question. Would it make your work lighter to Domlec? Well, any one of you can answer yes.
Well, the geothermal.
Yeah, let me go a little closer to you, Tim. I'm not sure if I'm hearing you speaking again in that mic. No, I'm not hearing you clearly. So check Miss Casey's microphone. Yeah, because this one has a short circuit. Okay, so go ahead now. Yeah, I can hear you.
Hold on.
Okay, all right. Okay, so while we're doing this, before okay, just hold on to your question, the answer. Let's put the microphone closer to you. All right, so let me just take this one and see if we can have added information here. Yes, hello, are you on? Good morning.
Good morning, FM.
Good morning to you.
I'm just calling to tell my Salisbury Parsley good morning. Donald, this is Lucille.
Good
Proud
morning.
of you.
I am very well. I mean, I you don't even need any introductions. Once I hear a voice, I know what this is about. How are you doing?
I'm good.
Thank you for listening.
Thank you.
Okay, all right. That's it, Lucille? Okay, thank you. Okay, so the question back to you. Yes, with the upcoming potential of additional electricity provision through geothermal, would that make your job easier? Would it be the same?
Okay, well, the geothermal company, it's an independent power producer, so it's a separate entity from Domlec.
Okay.
Domlec will be purchasing geothermal energy from the geothermal company.
Mhm.
So in terms of IRC's regulatory oversight over the geothermal company is to ensure that the amount of energy they supply actually reflect the cost of the service provided. So if geothermal company sells, let's say, X amount of power, we have to ensure, in terms of my work as a financial analyst, I would have to ensure that the costs reflect the amount purchased. From a technical standpoint, the IRC also will review certain aspect or requirement as is mandated, and of course our project or technical or engineer would have looked at that part of it. So my role is to ensure that what is sold is actually reflected on Domlec's book.
Nice, yes.
So Franklin, it will actually make our work a little harder.
Okay, well,
and a
explain
little
that.
more and a little more complex
Mhm.
because again you now have an additional input at the DOMLEC end which we have to analyze
Mhm.
to make sure that the costs which go to the consumer are correct.
Mhm,
So
mhm.
it's additional work.
Yes.
Short answer.
Okay, all right, it's additional. I'm asking this question of my head, so I'm not sure if it's pinpointing or it's relevant, so you can dismiss or address. We often hear people complain very silently, but without and nonchalantly, without any redress, fuel surcharge, with the fluctuating prices and the sudden uncertainty of the world market. How does fuel surcharge affect the customer, and do we have any control over it?
Well, in a nutshell, we do not have control over it. Once you use electricity, once you use diesel to generate electricity, the cost has to be passed on to consumer. However, there is a methodology to calculate the fuel surcharge, and of course, it will be passed on to consumers. But what we hope, we are into a tariff review, and
Oh.
what we hope that with the advent of geothermal coming on stream, we should see a reduction in fuel in the fuel charge, or what we call fuel surcharge. Now we have a new tariff design that more or less remove the fuel surcharge and will now allow for a fuel charge. So in
So
the
what's the difference? Is
it's
yeah.
Surcharge is a charge on top of a charge. And the way it is modeled, the fixed component of the fuel is embedded in the base rate that DOMLEC charges it. And the surcharge accounts for the variable aspect.
Yeah. Okay. You go ahead. Mhm.
What's that?
No. So the surcharge. Okay. So there's a charge, right?
Right.
And then there's a surcharge. Is that increased for additional service? Is it charged for?
No. Just that the fuel charge, which is
Yeah.
everything.
Go a little. Put the microphone a little.
Yeah, the fuel charge, which is
Okay.
everything,
Mhm.
is divided into two components.
Yes.
So you have a fixed component which is embedded and distributed among the base rate that the customers are charged.
Mhm.
And the surcharge is the variable aspect because of the fuel cost varies every month.
Mhm.
So to capture it, you have this surcharge. That is how it was modeled
Mhm.
before. With the new tariff, it will be a complete pass-through.
Yeah.
So there will be no fixed component and variable component, which is called the surcharge. So it will just be called the fuel charge, which will be a direct pass-through.
Okay, I have some, and just want to remind anybody, we have, I think I have a message or question coming from overseas. In case you, at this point in time, on Q, we give you the complete authority and total opportunity that you can call. And if you have any query or questions, I have one coming in. Franklin, the cost of doing business is using power. It is important that the business has cheap, reliable electricity. Why does it seem like the license is a barrier to the businesses who can afford and want to have their own generator, especially if it is a private business? The business is accepting the cost of fuel and does not rely on the transmission cost. That's what I have. That's what I have here.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, so
Yeah, hold on. Yeah, go ahead, brother. It's right here, not me.
yeah, no, that's fine.
Yeah.
So that is a very, I guess, touchy
Yeah.
question.
You want to take a closer look at it?
No.
Okay, okay.
I understand where it's coming
Okay,
from.
all right, okay.
The thing about all of this is, as a society, we need to be helping each other and not necessarily operating in silos. One of Dominica's biggest hurdles, if you listen through all discussions in the economies, our economies have scale.
Mhm.
We don't have enough volume. So what happens if all the big businesses who can afford come off the grid? That is just going to make electricity a lot more expensive for quote unquote the poor man.
Mhm.
So some of this is actually to help the society as a whole grow together. I know that is not the sexiest answer or the most desired answer that people want to hear because it's, hey, I can afford, I shouldn't have. No, we all have an obligation to our fellow man. And that's just, for better or worse, that is how it is. So the more customers we have on the grid, the cheaper it gets for everybody. Because so you have power produced in Roseau and power produced in Portsmouth. But whether you live in Capuchin, whether you live in Laplane, whether you live in Scott's Head, everybody pays the same amount of money for electricity. However, to get it to the furthest point is actually going to cost you more. So it's one of those things where you're just trying to keep everything manageable for your whole society. I think that's my simplest way I can explain that.
Even me understand it.
All right, so I would like to add something.
Yeah, sure, absolutely.
Okay, so I would like the caller to kind of like go back in time a little bit to the aftermath of Hurricane Maria, where the Domlec system was demolished by the hurricane. And when Domlec started, people went on their own to power themselves. And they were practically screaming for Domlec to come back because it would be cheaper for them to be on the grid than to buy diesel every, month or every 2 days or whatever it is to power themselves.
Yeah.
Because it's not just a situation where you're buying fuel for the generator, but there's also the maintenance aspect where you have to change your oil every 20 days. You have to service the generator. Otherwise, you just keep running it. It's going to break down after time.
Yes.
A lot of people run generators after hurricane until they break down and now they are packed in a corner. They're not using it. But they were screaming for Domlec to come back because it was just cheaper to be on the grid. So I don't know how they're doing their maths, but at the end of the day, it is cheaper to be on the grid.
Maybe
from that experience, they should know that because they had empirical proof that they were spending so much on diesel every month, be it a business, be it your own personal home. Because for their personal home, they were spending $50 every 2 days to run a generator. And then have to buy oil every 20 days to change the oil. So it's more costly for the customer.
Nice. Okay. So we have more another message. I also asked the ARC where we can find the levy. How do you say that? Levelized. Okay, that we talk about arithmetic in English. The cost comparison of the current electricity cost versus the cost of electricity once geothermal comes in online. The reason is because electricity is going to be cheaper, but those numbers have not been seen. The person is still texting, so anybody want to handle this one here?
Okay, so all this information will be revealed to the public or released to the public in our final consultation, which we are getting ready for. From the month of September, October, around that time. So all these figures will be available to the public very soon. It is the final stage of the consultation, and we encourage participation from the public and all strategic stakeholders to their opinion and comments in a way that if we deem them justified, then we can apply it in whatever we feel fit to better the results for the public.
Okay.
From what I recall, the person is also asking for cost comparison with geothermal and electricity rates, but we don't have that information. So do you get?
As I said, during the consultation, all of this information will be made available to the public.
Okay. All right. So this again, if you have additional information, you can text me and you can send your information. You can call. Call us. You know the numbers already. So, and we're going to come right back in a short while from now. I got this to play. I'm trying to get my stuff running. Okay. So, but let's just continue. I'm trying to get this to flow with me, but it's not flowing in this one. Okay. So the next question, let me see. The person is still.
So while you're going over this question, Mr. Moses,
yes.
We'd also like the public to know what we've done to engage stakeholders. Of course, the public has been hearing us coming on this platform. We've also had stakeholder forums, public consultations, of course, to uh, let the public to democratize the process, so to speak, and to allow for there to be transparency in the rate review process, because at the end of the day, the public and stakeholder participation is, of course, critical to the decision making, and what comes out of the consultation. And essentially, we want the public to be informed. The importance of public feedback in shaping the final decision. We want the public to know that our doors are open, and we encourage open communication in this process. So currently, we are also taking a targeted approach to seeking stakeholder feedback by engaging with specifically private sector organizations, that is, those responsible for the tourism and hotel sector and stakeholders, the DAIC. We're also taking our outreach, decentralizing it outside of Roseau. We've planned one in Portsmouth, of course.
You plan it? It's gone already, or you're planning to go?
Planning, yes.
Okay.
So those dates will be confirmed once we have them. And yes, so the final stakeholder participation initiative would be our upcoming public consultations on the rate proposal and cost of service for DOMLEC.
Okay, I think I got what I was looking for.
Always be there for you. It's what we aim to do. Devotion, tried and true. Encouraging wider availability of one very important utility. Yeah, we're talking about electricity. It's the IRC. Laying down the rules for transparency while promoting greater efficiency, regulating with integrity. It's the IRC. IRC, we take on the fight. Rise to the challenge and defend your rights. While enabling liability for providers of electricity. Promoting efficiency, establishing standards, protecting interests, facilitating competition, inspecting, testing, protecting the environment, protecting health and safety, while promoting regional cooperation. The Independent Regulatory Commission is always there for you. IRC, always there for you. IRC, always there for you. IRC, always there for you.
Located at 42 Cox Street, upstairs to Perky's Pizza Building. Call us at telephone number 440-6634 or 615-6635 or 295-9335.
Okay, so I have a number. I have additional questions to ask. We have two now, and this one is from a listener. So I'm going to confidently say it ignorantly. Have the IRC. Okay, it's a correction, my brother. And then you got the E on the R. Completed the WACC calculations.
Yes.
So okay.
This is
Okay,
Yeah.
so what? Just tell me and my customer and my listeners, what is okay before you answer? So that's double questions that we have. We have two questions, but we have this one coming. So let's keep the listener waiting, and then we'll answer those two questions which we have written down. I have it on text. Good morning.
Good morning, Franklin, and good morning to your esteemed panel.
Yeah. Good morning to you, sir.
Franklin, did I tell me if I understood correctly? Your panel just explained that if out of, let's say, you have 10,000 customers, that you have to burn, let's say, 100,000 gallons of diesel for the month to supply to those 10,000 households. But let's say 100 of those households decide to run on generator. You're saying that you will have 100 households less to share the cost of your what is it of the cost of running your power to those households. Am I correct, sir?
Okay, so whilst your fuel would go down from, because you have 100 people, yes, less consuming electricity, you still have the same number of generators, the same number of admin, the same number of lines, the same number of hard infrastructure which cannot be changed, which needs to be paid for. So yes, that it may seem negligible, but over time, if that continues to grow, and what you would see is the people who come off the grid would, so the example that was used when this discussion came up was a business. Now a business consumes a larger amount of electricity, so you're actually getting a larger proportion of that infrastructure cost coming off of the rate.
So am I correct to deduce to understand that, let's take for instance all the supermarkets, all the major conglomerates, all the major business houses who are all running on solar, and you now have, let's say, about 10 megawatts loss that is not being consumed to share with the 10,000 households. And that's why the cost of our electricity is tending to be on the high side. How do we solve this major situation with those major business houses running full time on solar power? Thank you.
So, okay, and I guess that's where we kind of have to run the balance. And over time, when it is the hope that as the economy grows, you get more people coming onto the grid, more businesses, more hotels coming on the grid. So that should help. But there's only so much you can do from a regulatory perspective. There may be some adjustments that need to be made to the rules going forward, but it's a work in progress. I think we need to realize that nothing is perfect in its first iteration. The car you have now is very different than the car that was first made in 1930. So we just have to keep improving, and as things go along, modernize and help everything be better. But it's a work in progress. That's what I would say to that.
That leads me to the next question. We'll come back to the you know. Let's go. Yeah, okay. Because I myself are curious to know what is
The WACC.
how you pronounce that?
WACC, weighted average cost of capital. It's a WACC.
Good. Which school you go? Because I studied acronyms, but you put meaning to an acronym. So tell us what's it all about. The listener wants to know about that.
Okay. The weighted average cost of capital, what we call WACC, it's more or less the rate of return that the investors will receive on their investment. So remember, the investor invests heavily into business capital intensive assets, and therefore for utilizing those assets, he's expected to get a return. So in a just for the ordinary folks to understand, so you're part of a company or you're part of the credit union, for example. At the end you invest in the credit union, you buy shares, then you're entitled to a return. So they will tell you have a dividend, or they're paying 5% dividend that will be shared among all members of the credit union. Same will apply to um the the utility company. So you have investors who invested into the company, and for use of the assets, then they are entitled to a return on the assets. Now, key parameters that fed into or that will lead into the final rate design included the calculation of the weighted average cost of capital, which of course that was done already. A decision document was arrived at. We held a public consultation. Apart from the WACC, we also had other parameters that fed into finalizing the rate design that we are going through right now. So we had the WACC, we had, just to give the persons additional information, we had the WACC which was completed. It's now, we have a proposed rate that was agreed upon, 9.83% on the assets of the company or the rate base. We also did a depreciation study that also fed into that. A consultation document was already decided upon. We also did the revenue requirements. So all these, so the WACC, the depreciation study, the revenue requirement, the rate base, the capital investment plan, the cost of service studies, all led in arriving at the rate design for Domlec.
Okay. Okay. Anybody else want to just touch on any other thing? Because I have a question that I wanted to ask, and that question is: are there any plans? Because people not complaining, but they're aware of the increasing levels and the accelerating compressed levels of inflation. Is there any plans that you have for regulating current rates
So-
across the board? Yeah.
Yeah, so the purpose of this show is to educate the public on the interventions that we took as the regulator to ease the shock or impact of any rate variation. Okay, so as we mentioned earlier, we modernized the tariff structure. Before it was a linear structure whereby for the different categories of customers, a fixed rate will be charged irrespective of what time.
I'm not quite sure, but let me just find. I think I may have an international call coming in. Let me just try. Hello, you with me? Hello? Okay. No, didn't connect. Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, right. So what we looked at with Domlec is one, we broke up the various customer categories into small and large. With the exception of the residential class, which we have a standard rate, which is modeled on the existing structure, and then we introduce time of use. So we have time of use for residential customers that consume above a certain level of up to more than 150 kilowatt hours. And then now we also have small commercial customers, large commercial customers, large industrial and hotel. So people, the different categories are divided by consumption. So the small commercial customers are those that would utilize less than 500 kilowatt hours in any month. So anybody that falls in the other categories that exceed 500 kilowatt hours in any month will be designated as a large customer. So apart from the large and small designations, we also introduce time of use. time of use has to do with on-peak and off-peak periods, which during on-peak, the tariff will be slightly higher than off-peak. But that will give the customer choice in moving certain activities to off-peak, where they will enjoy a lower rate. Okay, so even if they can't move like certain activities to the off-peak, when they enter that time period, they will also be enjoying lower rates. So all of this was done to kind of mitigate any shock to the customer. So these are what the interventions we did, and that is that's why we speak to what is called the modernization of the tariff structure.
Mhm. Okay, so we have that. We have the modernization. We're gonna be wrapping up now. So we're taking your final observations.
Actually, Franklin, the discussion has gotten so interesting. We want to stay on to be able to hear the callers, so we've extended up until 10 o'clock.
Okay, wonderful. So we have one. As you've said that. Yep, most certainly. Good morning. You are on, and we're connecting you to electricity. Yeah. Okay. Hold on. We're connecting you. Yes. I think we have you on. Good morning.
Franklin.
Yes, Pedro.
That your panel seems to be shy this morning to admit to the public that they're having a readjustment of the rate because they have lost sales of about 10 megawatts, which is off their grid, which is in lost sales. So they're punishing and penalizing the poor man who is on the grid. So they have to make up that shortfall to the rest of the public. And it's in a very unfair situation. Tell me I am wrong, somebody. You're losing $100,000 monthly in sales because of all the high-powered business houses who are off-grid on solar. And now you have to come and readjust your rates and punish and penalize the rest of the public because you have this shortfall. Tell me I am not wrong. And don't be shy to admit it, please. Good day.
Well, number one, most of the large commercial businesses are not off-grid. So that information is very incorrect. And they don't have all of their load supplied by solar. So you need to go to the different businesses that have solar and collect your facts. What most businesses do, they invest in solar to lower their bill somewhat, but they are also still connected to the grid. Kentucky Fried Chicken, S-Mart, and all these different businesses. So first, they are not totally off grid. There's no loss to Domlec in terms of 100,000 kilowatt hours, and therefore there's no penalty to customers that remain on the grid. So that view is really incorrect.
And just to add, according to this is the Independent Regulatory Commission, and then according to our mandate, we are supposed to review Domlec rates. So Domlec, as per regulation, is required to initiate a rate review with the IRC. And that was done in 2022, where they initiated a rate review. In 2021 to 2022, they initiated a rate review with the IRC. And key parameters of that exercise require the IRC to conduct comprehensive and thorough review of Domlec's financial operation. Okay? Mm-hmm. And that is why the key parameters I mentioned, the depreciation study, the weighted average cost of capital, the revenue requirement. The revenue requirement is the amount of money Domlec needs to operate its business on an annual basis. So to arrive at those figures, the revenue requirement, the amount of money they need to operate in order to remain financially sound, they provide comprehensive data These data were submitted in soft copy, and they were submitted in hard copy. Also, in conducting our work, we utilized the work of a consultant, a regulatory consultant based in Paris, who assisted the IRC in conducting the thorough review. Now, the last leg of the tariff process, which is the consultation we aim to have at the soonest, which is the cost of service study and the rate design, in all the parameters that follow preceding this one, they help us to determine what is the cost of providing energy to different customer class. So we have the cost of service study allows us to determine for each customer class how much it is they are going to spend. So I would not say that we are doing a disservice to the citizen. I can correctly say that we have done a thorough review of the data provided. We have done audits of them. We have done review of them. We have analyzed them. We got external help, and we utilize all the data. We review it where we had any discussion. We had feedback. We collaborated. We had meeting with DOMLEC to ensure that the accurate the financial data and also the load data in terms of kilowatt hour used per category of customers, what they provided to us was accurate. And at the end of it all, we ensured in our analysis that we can safely say that the information that they submitted to us is in fact accurate because of the review that we found. Where we found discrepancies, we alerted them and they provided us with the correct information. So I just want to say at the end of the game, when the red design is published or is made available, it is a work that was done thoroughly and not in a haphazard way.
Okay, thanks for that one. Good morning. Thank you for waiting.
Good morning.
Yeah, go
to
ahead.
you, Franklin, and to your guests.
Thank you very much. Good morning.
I appreciate the fact that the panelists said that they went through a very vigorous process of determining the fee structure. But one of the concerns we have, especially small business people who depend on electricity for their business. For example, I'm involved in a small business. Everybody needs air conditioning in their room. And I recall I had 6 rooms for 7 or 9 days. And just for using the AC and those things during that time, my bill spiked to $1,700. What we want to know as small business people at the end with the geothermal and with all what's going on is that whatever price structure is given for consumption of electricity is one that can make us competitive as small business people, but more so make us competitive as a center of business. Dominica has to become competitive with electricity rates if we are going to attract investors into our country. And I can say presently, if we look at our rates seems to be higher than quite a number of other countries in the region. And that is what I think is the Achilles heel that we have to address. How do we work on getting our electricity to be cheaper, that we can have more small business operators, we can have people in the accommodation business. We know accommodation rates are sometimes about 50% for the year. You get spikes, carnival, breakfast fest, Creole festival, but apart from that, not too much is happening. And so we have to address that, or else our small business will eventually disappear because they can't afford the electricity rates. Thank you and good morning.
Thank you and good morning. Response, people?
Okay. Now we have in the new tariff design or the proposed tariff design, it is streamlined as Mr. Case, the ED alluded to. It is streamlined for a specific rate for small business. So on the small business customer is any small business that is utilizing up to 500 kilowatt hour of energy. So that would include small hotels, small companies, small industry. If you have an agribusiness, you would fall under that category. A small guest house, as he's talking about, would fall under that category. Once your consumption is below 500 kilowatt hour, so there is a rate that is proposed for them. So they have been taken off from the large commercial customers or large hotel customers. So I would just like to assure the listener that we catered for his need on the small business customer class
Okay,
in
well,
the proposed rates.
thank you for your answer. Our numbers are still 449-3095-9697. You still continue to contact me. Thank you very much. That's the same question coming from the same listener overseas. If the the WAC was calculated by the IRC on the existing structure, then they should have an idea of what consumers should pay per kilowatt per hour. Was the geothermal factored in that? And if not, will the process be done when geothermal comes online? The geothermal company will also have to make a profit to be sustainable. And according to the info, the plant life is expected for 25 years. Your answer to that, if you, anybody.
Okay, first of all, the geothermal is a separate entity, and the finances and all what goes with the methodologies that feed into the feed-in tariff is what we call it, that they're going to feed into Domlec's grid, is done separately. The work is that we are speaking about is specific to Domlec's operations. Okay. The nice thing about IPPs is that you don't have to worry about their operational statistics or their finances in the sense that you'd have to do for Domlec. Okay, they do their investments and everything. All that is looked at, but that is done separately. So how it works is that the IRC adopts, most regulatory bodies in the world adopt a one buyer, one seller model. So Domlec is operating under the one buyer, one seller. So they'll buy the power from the IPP and sell it to the customer. Okay, so in doing so, there's an agreement which is called a power purchase agreement between the IPP and Domlec. And that agreement will state now what the feed-in tariff is. That will be the energy, the cost of energy to be sold to Domlec.
Okay.
Now, so the whole WAC calculations and the methodology in deriving it is just specific to Domlec's operations.
Okay, you wanted to add, yeah?
Just to add, whenever geothermal comes on stream, the charge to be passed on to the customer, it will be shown as a separate line item on the customer bill. So as it is in our new design, geothermal, we have no relation. It's not factored in any of the parameters that were submitted to the commission. So it's not factored in the redesign. However, whenever it comes on stream, customer will see a separate line item relating to geothermal energy.
Okay. Okay, so we got 3 minutes before 10. So we have 90 seconds to wrap up. So will you be back? Just okay.
Yes.
Which we have a little difficulty with the overseas line, and somebody for another part of the states wanted to, but he got the answer. So I'm just going to try, but I think I'll have some. I don't think I can get. Are you with me? No.
Yes, Mr. Franklin Moses.
Yes, sir.
How's your brother Aaron?
I left him on the mountain.
Oh, okay, that's good. I want to meet him. Great. But by the way, you did a great job, my brother.
Thank you very much, sir.
The reason why I am calling, because if those people the people in the studio supposed to be overlooking over Dominic and the consumers as far as they have complaints. And how successful were they in solving the people's issues, and as far as even monetary because a lot of people now lost the damaged equipment, the refrigerator and them stuff because of the way Dominic take light and it comes back on and it rush and it blow off the people equipment. How successful are they in the people getting the monetary for the equipment? And also the gentleman that called about the generator, I understand he wants to have a generator for his equipment, because imagine you're working in your shop and next thing the way Dominic takes like very often. People cannot really survive on something like that with the way Dominic takes like. So people need their generator to continue their work. So something has to be done. I think we as a people we're in 2025, this thing that's supposed to be happening. It's not in the olden days, years ago, it happened, but not like that. We're in 2025, modernized equipment and mentality of people, modernized stuff. And this is happening. We have to stand for something, or else we fall for anything. And as far as the geothermal, I don't see, it's not like I don't want geothermal for Dominica, but why would a government maltreat or ill-treat the people and yet still going to build a geothermal plant for the same people that they're ill-treating? And then while they were planning on building it, France was supposed to be on board, but France pulled out. So what was that about? And then you don't build a geothermal plant in a proximity, in a close proximity to residential area.
Okay,
remember, you're not dealing with a generator, you're dealing with the active volcano. In case any incident or accident happens.
My brother, I thank you for that, because we have another program coming up, a paid program. But I thought, where are you calling from, by the way?
I'm calling from the States. I'm on the truck on the highway heading to Florida, coming from Missouri. I'm the one doing, the highways and the byways, listening to the big station.
I appreciate you, bro. You drive carefully, you drive safely, and please make sure you call me later. We're going to be playing a song for you. Be safe, okay? Thank you very much for your contribution this morning.
You're welcome. Take care. Have a blessed day.
One Love Unlimited. Okay, so quick wrap up. It's 10 o'clock. We thank you very much. You and Idona and your team. You just give me a quick roundup. Who's in charge of what? Who's in charge of which department? Next to you is?
Jason Timothy is the project engineer. Mrs. Louis, financial analyst, and Mr. Case, the executive director.
And I am
the legendary Franklin Moses.
And you are in charge of the marketing department. Okay, so you'll be back. I had fun this morning. I hope you guys had fun too. I think we hit the mark this morning.
It's just a pity, sometimes we have a time constraint, and the callers would like to engage us, but again, we have various feedback mechanisms. We are on social media.
Right.
We have our office on 42 Cox Street, and of course, you can email me at communications.office@irc.org, and you can reach us at our office at 440-6634, 440-7247. We have a website, www.ircdominica.org, where you can find all information about customer complaints or guaranteed standards, and certain compensation that you can receive if Domlec defaults on certain quality standards, and of course our consultation documents related to the rate review.
IRC to the world. Thank you very much. Good afternoon. Good morning. We'll see you again next time.
Okay.
All right.
Bye.
It's what we aim to do. Devotion tried and true. Encouraging wider availability of one very important utility. Yeah, we're talking about electricity. It's the IRC. Laying down the rules for transparency while promoting greater efficiency, regulating with integrity. It's the IRC. IRC, we take on the fight. Rise to the challenge and defend your rights. establishing standards, protecting interests, facilitating competition, inspecting, testing, protecting the environment, protecting health and safety, while promoting regional cooperation. The Independent Regulatory Commission is always there for you. IRC always there for you. IRC always there for you. IRC always there for you.
Located at 42 Cox Street, upstairs to Perky's Pizza Building. Call us at telephone number 440-6634 or 615-6635 or 295-9335.
It's continuing 4 minutes after 10 o'clock morning time. And we just want to thank our folks there from the IRC for spending a little time with us. And coming up, we hopefully will have our connection with our folks from Johnny's Pharmacy sometime to this morning. Until then, we still have some more business to do. Looking for one of my favorites, but let me just go and play this one because we gotta get it done. It's down at ESA Trading.
Going green isn't always easy, especially when options are limited. But at ESA Trading Limited, we're changing that just for you. We're proud to offer sustainable solutions that help you make a real impact, one small step at a time. Say goodbye to styrofoam and hello to our compostable clamshells, trays, and baggers products, the perfect eco-friendly upgrade for your takeout packaging. Because great food deserves a great container, and ours are sturdy, stylish, and earth-friendly. We've got it all. Clamshell bowls and lids, cake plates, corks, round containers, forks, spoons, even free compartment meal boxes, all made from renewable materials like wheat straw, sugarcane baggers, and PLA. Our compostable containers break down in commercial composting facilities, helping reduce waste while keeping your food fresh and your conscience clear. Join the movement. Make the switch. Visit us today at Kennedy Avenue and the Bayfront for all your biodegradable packaging needs. At ESA Trading Limited, we're making a difference for you and the planet.
Exciting news from AutoTrade. Incredible savings are here. Take advantage of AutoTrade's Thrifty Thursday promotion. Mark your calendars. On the last Thursday of each month, AutoTrade is offering up to 20% off items throughout the store. Yes, 20% off. But wait, there's more. Keep your eyes peeled for our exclusive Deal of the Day offer, bringing you even bigger discounts on select items. Whether you're looking for car accessories, maintenance essentials, or just browsing for a great deal, we've got you covered. So be sure to swing by AutoTrade every last Thursday. At AutoTrade, it's more than a vehicle, it's a relationship. Terms and conditions. News, Dominica Do It Center is now even closer to you with the opening of Do It Center Express, conveniently located on Cork Street, right next to Fresh Market. Get all your home improvement essentials fast with everything from tools and paints to home decor and more. Plus, enjoy the same great service you know and trust. Now, just a quick stop in the city. Visit us today at Do It Center Express, your partner in home improvement. Now, closer than ever.
Okay. So it's now 10:07 in the morning. We're taking a break now, putting on for the Shan and the rest of the afternoon. See you at 1. We have a very juicy, feisty, zesty, and tasty program. It's gonna be a humdinger. It's gonna be good. It's gonna be bumper to bumper. The crowd is gonna be busting on the arena, busting off the seams. We're gonna ring out every juicy part of the economy, in terms of society, in terms of the philosophy, the understanding. From local, we're going global this afternoon. You don't want to miss what's talking on the blocking this afternoon. Continue.
Ooh, oh, AFC. Ooh, oh, AFC. Looking for some place to go. He knows what's so. Party your origin of sea. Grab your family and your friends. Join in the experience. KFC. It's the place to be. Made for you and me. KFC. KFC. It's finger licking good.
Market. What comes and pocket that hurts you? A fresh market. We are open 7 days a week with the top of the line products. Well stocked supermarket and pharmacy, health and beauty care, fresh produce and meats prepared daily, hot and cold kitchen, ready to go meals, sandwiches, salads, and desserts at your fingertips. Easy access, located on the bayfront, environment friendly, and our staff are approachable and ready to assist. Have you figured out who we are? You got it. Fresh market. Your one stop. Everybody that comes and your pocket that hurts you. Fresh market. Fresh market.
Fresh market. At Court, get the lowest prices guaranteed. Get appliances, furniture, electronics, and so much more. If you find a lower price on any other products elsewhere, we'll match the price. Plus, we'll give you back 110% of the difference. Shop with confidence only at Court, bringing value home. Special conditions apply.
Right on cue. Right on cue. Right on cue. Right on cue.
Yeah, we got to get Ringo and Tina. But I got something to say about this.
Daddy again. Things alone.